Om. Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvighna Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Sadashiva Samarambham Vyasa Shankara Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vande Guru Paramparam Smruti Smruti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Samastajana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Om Sri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha Om Sri Tapovana Sishyaya Namaha. We are starting Ishavasya Upanishad today. It's a relatively small Upanishad. It only has 18 mantras, but it's a very tricky Upanishad. Many of the words in this Upanishad are not literal dictionary meaning. They all have a special meaning called Lakshyardha, unique contextual meaning. So usually I do not take it in the beginning. After we get used to some of the technical language, and then after 3 or 4 Upanishads, I take this. So we have already done Kena, Mundaka, Katha, and Chandogya chapter 6. So most of the people who are attending know the general lingo so far. So as a reminder, Upanishad, it means Vedanto Nama Upanishad. So Vedas, end of Vedas, means essence of Vedantic teaching is Vedanta. So essence meaning the final message of Vedas is called Vedanta. And that is given in Upanishads. So Vedanto Nama Upanishad. So Vedanta is equal to Upanishad. That is the definition of Vedanta. Now, the question is, what is Vedanta? We're trying to understand what Upanishad. Vedanta means self-knowledge. The knowledge that you are that infinite, self-aware being, uncontaminated by sorrows, worries, anxieties, fears, etc. In essence, you are that pure happiness principle, which is your real nature. What is real nature? If you take it out, you don't exist. If you have it, then anything else is possible. Like your mind, like your body, like your thoughts, like perceptions, and even the perception of the world is possible. But it in itself is complete. It reflected through the mind or the senses limits as though your perception of yourself. When that happens, you become a jiva. So the purpose of Vedantic knowledge is to make you aware who you are and who you are not. This is essential. So now I have mentioned it is the end part of Vedas, Vedanta, and it is self-knowledge. But now, very briefly, it is important to know what are Vedas, because it's an introductory class today. So I want to take a little bit of time to explain what is Veda, what is the message in general of Vedas. So everybody in this world wants Sukham me sarvada bhuyat, Dukkham ma bhut kadachana. What it means is, for me, all the time there may be happiness. Dukkham ma bhut, may there not be any sadness, any sorrow, kadachana, never. This is what every one of us want. In other words, we want sukha prapti, dukkha nivurti, attainment of happiness and removal of sorrow. This is the purpose of our life. I given talks many places. I asked a lot of people in general, if I give you whatever you want, but take happiness out, you get whatever you want, money, wealth, cars, buildings, whatever you want, I give happy, beauty, and everything. But I will not give you happiness. What would you want? So far, I never found anybody who said, I don't want happiness. The reason that nobody says that I don't want happiness is because we are doing everything in our life for happiness. If you get happiness directly, then everything else is given as though. So, Vedanta gives you the promise. If you have self-knowledge, you get that atyantika sukha and dukkha nivurti also. So, that sukha is peace, happiness, and also security, bhadrata. This introduction, now for any education, we need two factors, or for attaining anything in life, we need two factors. One is desire to do that, to get that knowledge or to learn something. Number two, the desire is called ichha in Sanskrit. You need to have a motivation that I want this. That's called desire. Number one. Number two, you need to have the qualification for that. Yogyata in Sanskrit. You need that. In other words, even if a student who applies for a college, he's tested against these factors. First, he's expressing his desire to join the college. And number two, he's also tested, verified whether he meets all the qualifications or not. Same thing applies if you want to make a Tirtha Yatra. You have to verify whether you have the required materials, financially, and the necessary health to survive the hardship in the pilgrimage. In the same way, for study of Vedanta, you need to have the desire and you also need the qualifications. So Veda Purva Bhaga, Veda has two parts, Purva Bhaga and Uttara Bhaga. Purva Bhaga means karma related. Karma and Upasana related. They prepare you for Jnana Kanda. You follow me? So if once you have a desire, you follow the path of Karma Kanda, which includes Karma Yoga and also Upasana. Upasana means meditation to improve your concentration. Then Jnanakanda follows. Jnanakanda involves Sravana, like we are doing now, Manana, reflection, and Nitidhyasana, digesting the information. Okay. So Veda has all these three components. Okay. Number one. Now in Karma Kanda, first section is Nishkama Karma, Karma Yoga. In simple language, Karma Yoga means Sarvam Paravasam Dukkham, Sarvam Atmavasam Sukham. I am repeating that. Sarvam Paravasam Dukkham, Sarvam Atmavasam Sukham. I will explain this. This Karma Yoga starts with this. If you believe what you do and expect from the world outside as a result gives you happiness, what you are doing is you are putting your happiness into outside factors. Sarvam paravasam dukkham. Everything you put in external factors gives you sorrow. I will explain. Now you make a lot of investments and you're looking good, everything looks fine, and you got everything going well, kids are going to good schools, and suddenly something happens, everything changes. It's not in your hands. Then everything falls apart. Then you start teaching philosophy to people. Despondency will take over. Same thing with jobs. You think the perfect job has come and now I'm doing great and everything is good. No, kids are doing well. Then suddenly job goes. The department is closed. So whatever you depend for your happiness on external factors cause you dukkham. Why? Because the external factors cause activities from your side. People are expecting work out of you. That itself requires surrender, tension, anxiety, confusion, because nobody tells you the same thing every day. If you're expecting happiness from X, like, and Y, that person is also changing. So the whole activity of karma based upon external factors is dukkha misritam. There is no clear cut clarity in that. First of all, dukkha misritam. Number two, asasvatam. Phalam is asasvatam. Also, same thing, asasvatam is also asantruptikaram. There is no contentment. Today you get $1 million. Tomorrow you feel yourself poor because you compare with somebody else who has $2 million. So you have no happiness because you are depending upon something outside. And third factor is bandhakatvam. You get some name and fame, some recognition, then you want it more. You get some money, you want more. Your children is studying well, then you want them to study more. You get attached to the success also, because anything that you call it defined by external factors, karma binds you. Karma itself is painful. Then it does not give you total satisfaction. And thirdly, it also binds you to whatever you have, you want repeat of it. So karma is what. So then what is the solution? Sarvam Atmavasam Sukham. If it is essentially dependent upon your definition of happiness, it can be given you happiness, sukham. So karma yoga basically is you do your best, but leave the result to God. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Akarma palaheturbuhu mate sangosta karmani. Does not mean you become stay lazy. Because in samsara, if you are lazy, you also feel bad. If you are busy, you also feel bad because the mind is like that. Tamas gives you low self-esteem. Tamas means dullness. Then if you're active, then tamas says, oh, I'm tired, I'm tired. So both ways yeah. So keeping that aside, the karma yoga is basically if preparing our mind for samatva. I will do my best. I will live in the present. I will not worry about the future. I will not care about whatever happened. But right now I'm this. I will do this. I will do my best. That gives ekagrata and balance, samatva. And when you have it, you also learn from your mistakes. Because you don't dwell on what happened, but you only dwell on it in a practical sense. Karma yoga. Karma yoga efficiently trains you to face challenges without fear or excitement or anxiety. Called samatva. So what you do as a result is atmavasam sukham. You take control in an activity using your own mind and focus. You don't depend upon result coming from external factors. So that is first aspect in Bhagavad Gita also, and also Karma Kanda also. Nishkama karma, and social service. The second aspect is, in addition to Karma Yoga, while you're doing Karma Yoga, you also have to have an attitude of expansion in life. With whatever resources that you have, you should be willing to share them. That expands you as a bigger vision in life. Selfishness contracts you. Giving for a greater cause expands you. So our rishis have given 5 important, what they call it, yajna. Yajna means sacrifice, where you put your ego aside and you do service. That's called yajna. When you put ego aside and do the service, it is called a kind of saranagati. So there are 5 principles are given, 5 basically, our ancestors used to do it, and we should do it to our capacity. Why you get more happiness and you become qualified for Jnana Yoga. That is the topic right now. First of all, you need to have desire that I want to be eternally peaceful, happy, and secure. Then what are the qualifications? You need to be qualified first. That qualification is Karma Yoga first, where you put your life in your control by doing your best, leaving the result to God. You can call it Saranagati, you can call it if you want. Then you have to do yajna, service. Our people have 5 Manushya Yajna. So fellow human beings, you treat them as you like to treat yourself, as much as possible. Donate for good causes. If opportunity presents, help. If the children are crying and then a mother is suffering, then you try to give them a little bit of support. Like there's so many possibilities of Manushya Yajna, where there are other human beings, you can do a little bit things, it makes a big difference to them. Bhuta Yajna, the well-being of the beings around you. It's like some people have a bird feeder outside. Some people, when they're walking, there's a worm, earthworm, gets stuck on the concrete. It doesn't, it's harmless. You just lift it and put it into the grass. How much she that animal will be happy, that worm will be happy. Imagine that. You feel that. That is expansion. Little things like this. Bird feed outside in once in a while you just fill it up with rice. Birds will come and take it. Don't go out of the way to kill. Your heart becomes hard. That is the problem. Yajnas soften your heart and qualify you more. Daiva Yajna. Daiva Yajna normally means worship of gods and all that. That is fine. But in addition to that, Daiva Yajna means Daiva means phenomenal forces. Respect them and don't pollute the environment, earth, air. As much as possible, you be a responsible citizen because you are sharing the resources, water, earth. Don't abuse. Don't use more napkins than you need to use. Simple thing. I've seen when I go to try airports and travels and all that, people just keep on pulling and then 10 more and then throw it. I feel bad. That's where they are. You cannot tell anybody these days. But then you just use minimum. Use a towel. Swami Chinmaya used to carry a towel. He said, no, don't waste it. Just use a towel and then put it back. And he used to say that these people don't know this is in the future they will repent for this kind of abuse. So he would use kerchief. Now we carry napkins and then throw them and put another napkin. So, but then responsible say the Daiva Yajna is that. Then Brahma Yajna. This teaching that we got from ancestors. And so many people sacrifice their life to preserve them. Particularly in India, foreigners have invaded and burnt so many of our Upanishads and scriptures. But still some people sacrifice their life. The livelihood was itself very difficult for those who study Vedas. In spite of that, they had taken their kids and then since childhood, without exposing them to the external fancies, they have made them study Vedas. And that benefit you and I are seeing today because the Upanishads are still available to us today. How fortunate we are. So we owe to them to support institutions like that. That is Rushi Yajna or Brahma Yajna. So because of that only it continues. Swami Chinmaya Maharaj, he has 2 years he trained us, me and my wife. Very minimal expenses. We just paid very little. Less than the taxes that we pay for our house here. That's all we paid there. Because he said, I am paying my dues to my Guru. Guru Parampara, he used to say. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyam. Asmadacharya, Ande Guru Parampara. Whole Guru Parampara is my duty to pay. So, the students who were under 30 years of age, it was free. In Bombay, one room and food is almost 25,000 rupees per month. Free. For 2 years. People ask him, we used to I remember some of the students used to ask Swamiji, and of course, by the time we joined the course, Swami Chinmaya was no more, but the parampara continued. So some of the people asked, it was wonderful, the teaching is so good, food is so good, accommodation is so perfect. What do you expect from us, the students? The Americans are also, many of us used to ask that question. And our Guruji, Swami Tejomananda, who was the head of that time, he said, for this question, our Gurudev, Swami Chinmayananda, used to say, I don't want anything from you. When you see me, just smile. That's what he used to say. See, what is the message? If your happiness is dependent upon somebody else's smile, dukkhamayam. Paravasan dukkhamayam. He lived what he thought. I said, live happy, have a smile on your face, and do your service, have no expectations. So yajna, Rushi yajna is exactly the same thing. You teach, you learn, and you teach. That's what they want. They sacrifice their life for you. You also learn from that, and then a little bit of teaching you do. Then Pitru Yajnam. Pitru Yajna means senior citizens, starting from your parents. Make them live happily. I remember one of my classmates when I was studying at Columbia University. His family in India, his mother was already widowed. She was living in a rental house somewhere and had bare minimum sustenance. He was a student in America. We did not know. By that time, I graduated. So my brother, who was living in New York at that time, in Columbia University, so he went. He met him, and he asked him. So he said, when my mother is in the town in Andhra, you go and see her and say a few words on my behalf. So he went and he gave him a pen as a gift. My brother took the pen and gave her. She said, why, what will I do with this pen? I don't have 2 good meals per day. I am living in dire poverty. He could have done more than this. Why did he just send this pen? See, this is it. We do not know how people, what needs are. So those who, yajna means feeling from their perspective, and you have to provide basics. He came and told my friend first. And obviously, subsequently, he changed his attitude, I think. So this is very important thing is, yajna is not just do what you want. It is understanding the need for the environment, need for the animals, need for the senior citizens, fellow human beings, and then contribute. See, we had enough as a users, but the yajnas are the opportunity to contribute. Vedanta says this gives you qualifications. When the mind expands, heart becomes light, head becomes free from guilt. Vedanta becomes obvious. So you have to pay the debts in your life from the people who have helped you. All these debts are, you don't know subconsciously they are there. You need to, our rishis have figured this out. And then these 5 yajnas have been prescribed in Vedas. Okay. Now, in addition to do these things, in Vedic lifestyle, also requests you to have good value system in life. It's extremely crucial. Good value system. So Bhagavad Gita explains good value system because Bhagavad Gita, as everybody knows, in several chapters. In chapter 16 in particular, Daivasura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga. The Sampatti means the wealth called Daivik and Asuric. Daivik means divine virtues, Asuric tendencies. The division of divine versus Asuric. Bhagavan Krishna gives the values. Those kind of values we have to inculcate naturally, and along with that you also have to have clarity that where I'm going, where truthful, just for truth you should develop. So karma yoga and yajna spirit, 5 yajnas I mentioned, plus positive values. The demonic spirit is basically, briefly saying, divine spirit is seeing oneness with people around you and then sharing and giving and sharing and contributing to the other's happiness as your own life. Asuric tendencies is taking away from others, destroying their scriptures, destroying their family roots. This is Asuric tendencies. It will catch up. Within themselves, it will catch up. The societies that thrive on them, they can expand temporarily, but later on, they themselves kill themselves. Because the tendencies are there. The residue, they continue with them. Okay. So Vedic Purva Bhaga prepares the individual's mind in such a way he becomes more and more self-sufficient. His mind is not object dependent. Object includes people, situations, and object and actual objects also. Objects, vastu, vyakti means people, paristhiti means situations. But when the mind is purified, we become less and less dependent upon them, and we become self-sufficient for our purity, for our happiness, because you are not confused that happiness is out there. That decreases. You become self-sufficient. So that is, these are requirements, Veda Purva Bhaga. The Jnana Yoga is the last part. Now, Upanishad, as I said, is the essentially Jnana Yoga. Now, karma itself is not part of Upanishads because it prepares you for the Jnana Yoga. So, I will give you a few more words about regarding Upanishads. According to our literature, there were initially 1180 shakhas in Vedas. Shakha means various branches within Veda. Each shakha had one Upanishad. Upanishad means the rest of it is Purva Bhaga and then one Upanishad. Upanishad is essential purpose is Jnana, self-realization. And the rest of it is Karmakanda, Upasana, the Pitru Yajna, all these things, information for that. Okay. So out of the 1180, now 108 are famously quoted. And most of them are lost, as I said, by attackers. And then also modern society does not support Vedic life. So so many shakhas, so many branches cannot be sustained. But 108 are, right now, 108 Upanishads are alive. Most of the shakhas are gone. 108 Upanishads are left. And then out of those 108 Upanishads, they are listed in a Upanishad called Muktiko Upanishad. Very first chapter of Muktiko Upanishad lists all the 108 Upanishads. So out of these 108 Upanishads, 10 Upanishads, Bhagavan Shankaracharya wrote commentaries on them. And if you learn those 10 Upanishads and understand the message, the essential purpose is served of the Jnana Kanda. And then Sara of all the Upanishads is also condensed in Bhagavad Gita. So these 10 Upanishads are very major Upanishads. They are also discussed extensively by various rishis. What is the meaning of this particular sentence in this context? Like that they discuss and then consolidate the meaning by rishis. And that is done in Brahma Sutras. So these three called Prasthanatraya, Upanishad, and then Bhagavad Gita, and then Brahma Sutra. They are Prasthanatraya. The essential supports of the Vedantic literature. Okay. Now those 20 Upanishads, which are very famously listed in one sloka, I will chant. Isha kena katha prashna munda mandukya tittirihi aitareyancha chandogyam brhadaranyakam tatha. The 10 Upanishads. Isha kena katha prashna mundaka mandukya taitriya aitareya chandogya brhadaranyakam. 10 Upanishads. Okay. So these 10 Upanishads, Isha is the first one. Isha stands for Ishavasya. Ishavasya is the first word of the Upanishad. Then so that's called Ishavasya Upanishad. Or just the first two letters Isha, they also call Isha Upanishad, Isha Upanishad. So same thing. Isha is the first in the list. Many people, when they write commentary of Upanishads, they use the Isha first. They take Isha, they write. But when you teach, we prefer not to teach with Isha first. Because Isha, as I said earlier, many words have contradictory meanings. Right next to one another, one mantra it means one, next mantra it means something else, like that. So unless you have concepts very clear, context is very difficult for you to grab. That's why we did not start with Isha Upanishad. A lot of people don't. Now, in addition to Upanishad being Vedanta, as I already mentioned, it also has direct word meaning. Upanishad. Upa means the closest. Ni means very clearly what it does. Shat. Shat means there are three meanings. That which destroys ignorance, loosens ignorance, and takes you to self. Gati, Avasadana, Visharana. The three words. Shat has three meanings. That which loosens ignorance, destroys ignorance, and joins you with true self. Gati. That is the literal meaning of the word Upanishad. Shankaracharya, in the Kathopanishad Bhashya, he wrote this. It also has other meanings. Upa means near, ni means below, shat means sit. So basically in Indian tradition, sitting near and below means showing shraddha, showing interest to learn with obedience. Now, why sit near? Excuse me. Why sit near means, See, the reason is there is a subtle meaning of this. The subtle meaning is Upanishad Vidya is very, very secret knowledge. Rahasya. Iti guhyatamam shastram idamuktam maya nagha etad buddhva buddhiman syat kurtakurtyasya bharata. Bhagavan Krishna says chapter 15, last sloka. Iti guhyatamam shastram. It is a secret most. He says. Chapter 9, Rajavidya Rajaguhya Yoga. It is the king of secrets. Upanishadic knowledge. Why? Secrets can be two types. An objective secret, which somebody hides from you. Suppose somebody takes your pen and puts it away. That is hiding. That's it. And then he would not tell you. Then finally he is bothering you. You find. No. Other type of secret is something very close to you, you don't recognize. It's a universal secret, but you don't recognize. It is like a fish asking where is water. It was never outside water. So it would not know how to. Guru has a problem. Guru fish has a problem to explain this question, where is water? Because the baby, the Shishya fish cannot understand it. It's always in water. It never be outside water. It cannot. In the same way, we are always in Brahman. Brahman alone is, just like space is. And then within the space we are. The space is in and through you, whole thing. But you never think, you only say space is outside. But space is inside you, in and through you. If I take this glass, for example, if I ask a question, if I move the glass, would the contents of the fall or not, fall out or not? You would know they would not fall. But the reason why they don't fall is the space is here and also it moves into the space somewhere else. It came into the space before and it also moved. So space is already there before the glass went there. In the same way, consciousness is already there when you are born. And because of the consciousness alone, our body is sentient, our mind is sentient. My hands are sentient. But somebody has to teach you that you are, even when the body drops, consciousness still remains. It is unaffected. The space is not affected. By this moving around, space is not affected. It is inside space and space is also inside it. In the same way, consciousness is all pervasive. It is not contaminated. It is free from likes and dislikes. It does not say, I prefer Subra and I don't prefer somebody else. No. Everybody equally is in consciousness. Even if because of consciousness only life is, I'm talking, I'm hearing, my breathing is going on, that's. Even if it drops, consciousness remains. Just like this light here. It is all pervasive. But when I ask you, what do you see here? You don't say I see, you just say mouse. But it's actually because of light only mouse is visible to you. We don't notice light. We don't say light. The mouse is, a mouse means this one. Whether it is here or not, light is still there. In the same way, consciousness is all pervasive. everywhere. You are that when your mind is not projecting anything. Okay. The reason I said this is rahasya. Rahasya means secret. The secret is so sweet, but we do not grab it. When you realize that you are that pure, essential, aware being before you become something different, ah, that moment, liberation takes place. After that, it is jnana nishtha. You got to keep on owning it, and realizing it. In calm moments, keep on being that. Okay. Now, Now, a few words about Upanishad itself, Ishavasya Upanishad. So, Upanishad has couple more, in addition to saying Vedantonam Upanishad, it also has couple of meanings. One is secret knowledge, and also that knowledge removes our ignorance and liberates you from samsara. Now, this Ishavasya Upanishad itself is from Vajasaneya Shakha. Out of 1180 shakhas, Vajasneya Shakha is one of them. It has totally 40 chapters. 39 chapters are the Mantra Upanishad, Vedic chanting, Vedic mantras for rituals and then various kamya, purification, as I mentioned earlier, yajnas and all that. Out of 40, the last one is Ishavasya Upanishad. Ishavasya Upanishad itself has no karma in it. Pure jnana. Now, this is an important point because we need to first understand what is karma. I explained to you earlier, karma is used to reduce our anxieties, develop some as karma yoga, samatvam, and as yajna karma, you expand, and also by values you expand. I mentioned that. But in every one of them, there's activity there. But in jnana, there is no activity. You are that. It's a knowledge only. There's an important point here. What is karma used? What is the purpose of the action? Bhagavan Shankaracharya, in his Upanishad introduction, he talks about this. In this particular Ishavasya Upanishad introduction, he actually talks about this. He says, action has four aspects, four purposes, he says. Interesting how he analyzed it beautifully, He says, the result of actions can only be four possibilities. One is utpadyam. You create something that did not exist before. Hopefully, you are hearing from me, you are developing knowledge. You plant a seed and you grow you sprout a plant. Then you water it and grows. The action is something new you created, utpadyam. And second is aptavyam. He says there are only four results of any action in the world. Aptavyam, you move something from one location to other location. So you want to buy a car, you go to a dealer and then get the car and bring it home. Aptavyam. That's also action. Third is vikaryam. You modify something from something to something else. You take milk and change it to yogurt. You put some powder and everything, you look better. That's, vikaryam. And fourth is at samskaryam. Samskar, refining it. So you take something and then you make it more useful. Like I suppose a piece of rod of iron is lying there. You take it, heat it up, and beat it, and then it becomes into a knife. Now it's samskaryam. It has become refined, and it is available for a greater use. It's all action. Only four possibilities. Yajna is also included in this. Okay, you serve society, then hopefully some people benefit. So, and then it will samskar you, it will purify you in the process. The samskaryam. So only these four are possible by action. Upanishad does not talk about any one of them. It talks directly about you, your peace, your heart, happiness, how you are, what you are not. It is not a activity, it is a realization. Because it is you are already that. Nobody ever told you. You are already in, fish is already in water. You are already in Brahman. You are already Brahman. Just you are not, your mind is paravasam. Right now it is paravasam. It is in the control by outside objects and people and situations. You want to make atmavasam. It has to be your own. Okay. So that self is pure. It's all pervading. It is changeless, eternal, and it is pure existence and pure consciousness, and it is your own nature. It is not what you acquire, but it is you, Swarupa. You can never be outside that, but you can mistake it. So you have to discover it. You covered it with ignorance, you have to discover it. Be good, feel good, be yourself. The mind stops. Between thoughts, you already have happiness, but you remain there, like in deep sleep with awareness. That is pure, uncontaminated, without likes and dislikes, but pure happiness. Now, the Shanti Patha of Ishavasya Upanishad itself is very interesting. See, Ishavasya Upanishad directly goes into Jnana, as I said earlier. Kathopanishad has some, some Sakhyayika is there, some story is there. Mundaka Upanishad has talks about a guru, Sishya, and all that a little bit. It also talks about some karma also. It's just apara and para it talks about. Apara Vidya means Purabhaga. It talks about, Mundaka Upanishad talks about it. He said, Ishavasya does not. It directly goes into Jnana. It has no other. It also does not have any discussion about guru, Sishya, who taught whom, all that is also not there. 18 mantras are directly, so they are divided. So for the purpose of the today's class, out of these 18 mantras, first mantra talks about jnana, pure jnana, how to live in that jnana. Second mantra talks about it, how you, if you don't qualify, if you do not directly understand that, how you should manipulate your life, keeping that as the goal. And then verses, it only has 18 mantras. Verses number 3 to 88, it explains jnana further. And then 9 to 14, it explains how we can adapt ourselves using karma yoga to get that. Then 15 to 18 will further elaborate upasana part of it. So in that context, it is jnana and then preparation for jnana to consolidate it, to purify ourselves and be prepared for higher. Okay? Both aspects it has. But it does not talk about karma as we normally know, like Pitru Yajna, Bhuta Yajna, like that. Those things are not directly talked about. Okay. Now the starting mantra of the Upanishad is the basically Shanti Pata. Shanti Pata itself is a direct message of Vedanta. Okay. I don't want to go into that today, but the message basically tomorrow, next class, Monday, will start with the Shanti Pata. I will just chant today, but don't worry about the meaning. I will go there. The Shanti Pata for this month Upanishad is Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I will chant again. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. As you know, we also chant this at the end of the pravachan all the time. So it so happened we are also at the end of the pravachan. So we will start with the explanation of the meaning next class. Okay. So as a concluding prayer, again, let me repeat. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.